So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again to the greatest watch market update show. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a very, very nice watch market update prepared for you guys. But before I get into the watch market update, I just want to touch a couple of things with you guys before I get into that, watch market update. First thing I want to tell you is I have a friend of mine that sent me this hat, and I told him that I would put it on, and I told him that I would show this hat to all my subscribers, to all my organic watch channel subscribers. This is from a real big supermarket here in Miami, Florida, and I'm going to show you the hat. I don't know if you guys know about this company, but he's a subscriber of my channel, and he sent me this hat. It's from a supermarket here from Miami, Florida. If you guys know about this store, you may put on a little message, to them, so they can see that you guys know who they are. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I'm doing a real big job for one of these big honchos from this company. I don't know if you guys know that I'm in the stone business. I'm in the marble business, and I do work in the marble business. I do some nice work, and I'm also doing a job for this honcho. Ladies and gentlemen, I also want to talk to you a little about that Sweet Kid Kino. He's doing his best to make it to Watches and Wonders in Geneva. He would like to leave at the end of March. And I'm going to do everything in my power, to sponsor him so he can make it over there and bring some good live stream footage from Geneva. And so we're gonna do everything that we can with people that I know, sponsors that I know myself and myself too. He's gonna go on my dime. He's gonna go on my dime. So I'm gonna do everything to send Sweet Kid Kino to Geneva. To Watches and Wonder. We're gonna do everything that we can. We're gonna try our best. I'm gonna make it happen, but just in case, Sweet Kid Kino wants to always take somebody, he always wants to take a freeloader, So, I told him, no freeloaders on my dime. I'll send you, and you can eat a couple of burgers over there, but that's about it. But we're gonna try to send Sweet Kid Kino to Geneva to bring you some live streaming from the show, and Sweet Kid Kino. Not many people don't know who he is, but to the ones that don't know, Kino is. Ellos no creen todavía que tú existes, pero no importa, He's gonna be in that show, okay, guys. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I also wanna talk to you a little bit about Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, or Audemars Piguet, Royal Oak. They have some new models that they have dropped, and I don't want to talk about it today because I'm gonna let all these flim flammers, get the lead on talking about the AP Royal Oak models. If you don't know that, AP has dropped some new Royal Oak models, so take a look see at that before I give you my look see on what I believe these watches. But these watches, to be honest, ladies and gentlemen, when they come out, the Muppet Boiler Room secondary grade. Lo dije bien. The Muppet Boiler Room secondary grade watch market channels and dealers, they have a frenzy, because they're gonna be able to, get to a flim flam and fleece a couple of you out there with these new watch models that they have just dropped, So we're gonna let them, because we'll let them, these wishy-washies, give you the sketch, about this watch, what they think it's gonna cost, and all this and all that, and then I come in and I finish them off, So just to let you know about that AP has new release models for you guys. All right, guys. Also, guys, I also want to talk to you a little bit about. I have a subscriber that reached out to me and we spoke for a while on the phone. We spoke for a while, and he says he's been watching my channel for a while, and excuse me, not my channel, Joaquin's channel for a while, and he likes what we are doing. You know, what we are doing, bringing. He says that we are bringing awareness. You know, I don't know if awareness is a good. Yeah, that's what he's saying. That we are bringing awareness to all the watch collectors out there. You know, I don't know if awareness is better than, a public service watch announcement channel, or we are a public service awareness channel. But it is what it is. But ladies and gentlemen, so we were talking, and this gentleman told me a story that I have said it many times, and he caught on to it, and he knows that I have been saying it for some time. And I'm going to tell you something from the certified pre-owned program. This gentleman purchased a watch, from the Rolex certified pre-owned program. I'm not saying this, and neither is Sweet Kid Kino. This is a subscriber that called me up to tell me the story. We're not gonna get into what authorized dealer this is, but he sells new watches, new Rolex watches, and he also sells pre-owned Rolex watches. And he told me this story, and I was pretty like wow, because I've been saying this to you guys for some time. He purchased a Rolex Daytona with the yellow gold, the John Mayer, the John Mayer guy, and with the green dial. And he pay a heavy number for that watch. Not 67, not 70, not 75. He paid some big money for the watch, and he found a couple of things with the watch that it wasn't working properly. So he took the watch, and he sent it to Rolex to get service. And this is crazy because he bought it from a certified pre-owned program, dealer. So when he sent the watch to get service, this is for you guys could, be smart out there, be very, very smart. And it happens, and maybe the story that I'm going to tell you, maybe the watch was completely, 100%, all the parts were there, but when things get there, you have dealers that work there, you have watchmakers that work there, and so on. I want you guys to pay attention to me because I really don't want you guys to get hurt like this person. This person, I can tell that basically, it wasn't a big thing, but it is a big thing. What I'm going to tell you. So he purchased his watch from this CPO, Rolex CPO program, and he finds that the timing was off on the watch, and he wanted to get checked out. So he gave it back to the Rolex service to check out. So he left it there, and a week later he got a phone call. And I don't know if you know this, when something is not right with a Rolex watch, they're not going to touch it. They're not, because it's not 100%. It's not 100% the watch. If it's not 100%, they're not going to touch the watch. So this watch, when they looked at it, automatically they found out that the watch wasn't 100%. It wasn't 100% at all. And the gentleman said, "But what do you mean?" He says, "The watch is not many things can happen when Rolex gets that watch and something is not authentic. It's a make believe part. They might just seize the watch. But in this case, it was that the dial on the watch wasn't the original one. It wasn't a Rolex green dial, Daytona dial. It was a fake, and he's having a lot of trouble now with the company that he bought this Rolex Daytona with a green dial, having a lot of problems. And he told me, I know who it is already. I know who it is. And it's exactly what I told him. And he says, no, it does make a lot of sense. And I was coming in the defense of the AD, the CPO. You know, I came in the defense. I said, listen, when the watch gets there, I'm sure it's 100% because they check it all up. They check it all up. But you got there working watchmakers and you got their sales staff working there, and you can swap a dial quickly, and you won't even, nobody will notice. Ownership won't notice. Nobody will notice, and because the copies of those green dials, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, you have to disassemble the whole watch. You have to loop it. You got to take out the dial and real good to really, really be sure that that's a real, a green dial. And you don't want to be playing with that green dial because the most expensive thing on a Rolex Daytona yellow gold, I don't know if you guys know this, but the most expensive thing on a Rolex yellow green Daytona is the dial. You're paying another $50,000 for that dial. So the person, he called quickly to the AD, to the CPO, the AD, and he said, he told them what happened, that they don't want to touch that watch. They don't want to touch that watch because it has, they don't call it a fake dial. They call it's I don't know how to use the word, but it's not. Okay, let's just call it's a fake dial, and they're not, it's not the original dial that belongs in that watch, and so it was swapped, and now he's out of that dial, and he told them that before he voices out who they are, he already voiced out, I know who they are, but I'm not going to tell you because I'm stupid like that, and I won't tell you. But he said if they don't make it right, well, he will voice it out and he will take it to a higher, higher. I don't know those law names they use. Law names they use. And so I said, okay. So what I'm trying to tell you is, ladies and gentlemen, be very careful when you are purchasing a watch with a very desirable dial. Even there, even when it's again, I'm sure that the watch was 100%, and somebody from their personnel, did this, switcheroo, and I'm telling you, you can never tell. You can never tell, that that's not the dial unless you do what he did. The watch was off in timing, and he sent it for service, and they told him, hey, listen, the dial is not authentic. It's not, and that's it. So he's going through that situation. So, ladies and gentlemen, when you're buying one of those watches with a very desirable dial, be very, very, very careful, right, guys? So, just to let you know, I can get into more details into that, but I don't feel like doing it today. Not today. I don't feel like doing it. Also, ladies and gentlemen, we also have a nice watch market update for you guys, and we're gonna dive right into it. All right, we're gonna dive into it. Let me have a little sip of water before I get into that, because you guys need this, watch market update so you can defend yourself from all these flim flams. Today I'm a little bit, I don't feel too too funny today. I don't. I'm a little tired. I'm a little tired today, but I wanted to do this to blow some steam. Tomorrow again, I gotta go out to the road and and check out some projects that I'm doing and blah 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 blah, and I'll blow a little steam by doing this with you guys and helping you guys out. So, ladies and gentlemen, our first watch is a Patek Philippe Nautilus, stainless steel, 5990. It's an unbelievable looking time machine, but this watch doesn't have the gray dial. This one has the brand new blue dial. This has the blue dial. And when this watch was first released, this watch shot up to 175, $185,000. Stainless steel with a beautiful blue dial, frosted blue dial. And this watch has a retail price of $69,600. Unbelievable. It has a 40.5 millimeter casing. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you so you can defend yourself from these flim flammers. If anybody knows the price, we're going to play a game with you guys. I already told you what it was at one moment when it first was released, and all those Muppet Boiler Room secondary gray watch market channels were going bananas. You know, you had the gentleman, the number one gentleman that you guys love to hear him talk. You know, we had that gentleman, Deputy Droopy Butthole Eyes, with the Tweety Bird haircut, and he's the first one that puts a number on the watch. Oh, this is going to go up to $185,000. You know, this is him. This is his subliminal message to you spoofballs out there, and you guys chew on it. You know, you guys chew on it like my you know, like my little doggy chews on his bone. You know, you believe all that, but this watch again has dropped, you know, and dropped and dropped and dropped. And I tell you the price is $69,600. And I'm gonna tell you that anybody has an idea about this Patek Philippe Nautilus 5990, not the 5980, the 5990 stainless steel with a blue dial. Anyway, guys, I see you guys don't know. Don't pay for that watch, and it's dropping, ladies and gentlemen. And it's you know, he's back. He's back. That's it. You know, I'll call him every once in a while Deputy Boxing Black Eyes, but his real name is, to make him feel good, is Deputy Droopy, you know, Deputy Droopy Butthole Eyes with a Tweety Bird haircut. And I'm gonna tell you, don't pay for that Patek. 5990. Blue dial, the new blue dial. Don't pay more, and I mean don't pay more than $118,000 and dropping. All right, guys? You do as you please with your money. You do as you please. We know that you guys are loaded. We know that you guys have a lot of money out there. We know that. We know you have a lot of money. And you spend it as you please. Our next watch is another watch that people have been asking me, why don't you talk a lot about this watch? Well, I am going to talk about this watch today. We're going to be talking about the Omega. The Omega Silver. You know, the Snoopy. You know the Snoopy? You know? This is an unbelievable Snoopy. Stainless steel, 42 millimeter. You know, this watch has a retail price. Unbelievable. And it's your favorite word is discontinue. You know, collector's choice, collector's dream, collector's grade. You know, because you like to hear that word. You know, all those words, because they change from discontinue. Thank you very much, Damon. Thank you very much. They change from the word discontinue to those three that I told you: collector's choice, collector's dream, and collector's grade. And I'm gonna tell you, I mean, you do whatever you want. The reference number of this watch has a reference number longer than an Amtrak. You know, Amtrak train. This thing is unbelievable. The reference number, just in case you're gonna look up for it, you know, you want to look for it, is the 310-3242-5002-001. You know, with a white dial, you know, with the blue gauges, you know, the Snoopy, you know. Look at this, Mr. Ed Blair is set a number there that unbelievable. Again, Eddie Ortiz too. He's on fire. Eddie Ortiz. Unbelievable, that Eddie Ortiz. And this watch, you know, I don't know when I said it's gonna discontinue. I swear. Chrono was one of the first to say that this watch was discontinued. People couldn't believe it. They thought that we were full of that thing, you know. But it was for real. We said it. And instead of the watch going up, it was at 18, 19. Once it got discontinued, it started dropping faster than Bill Clinton's pants. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a beautiful Speedmaster. You know, it has that beautiful, you know, I don't know, that blue strap. It's a beautiful, and it has like a little, you know, something in the back, a little Snoopy moving around. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. And we're gonna have to tell you the sad news. You know, Mr. Ed Blair and Mr. Eddie Ortiz said some numbers there. I saw them and they looked pretty close, but I'm gonna tell you, don't pay for that watch, and you do yourself a favor and protect yourself and stop giving away your children's tuition money away to all these flim-flammers who have been fleecing you for too long, until this gentleman came along and decided to do this channel. He wanted to do this channel, and I said, go ahead, do the channel and I'll be the voice. He's the owner and I'm the voice. And like I said again, we're gonna send him to Watches and Wonder in Geneva, and he's gonna have live streaming from over there. We don't want him to get hurt over there, so you know we don't want people, you know, to, you know, if you see a live stream and hey, we know who that is, that's Opus in time. You gotta be shush shush because we don't want Sweet Kid Kino to get hurt. All right, guys. Don't pay for that Omega. Don't pay for that Omega. Speedmaster Snoopy. Don't pay more. You ready for this, Ed and Eddie? You guys were there. Don't pay more than $13,000 and dropping. And dropping. All right, guys. So you guys are on point. Good for you guys. Congratulations. Our next watch is another Omega. You know, they call this the 18 karat Moonshine Gold. You know, it's unbelievable. It has some brush gold. This is a beautiful watch. And this to me is my favorite one from Omega. It has a beautiful green dial. You know, it has a beautiful green dial with that Moonshine 18 karat gold, you know, brush. It's spectacular. You know, we have a subscriber that many months ago I told him the price about that watch and he wanted and he got that watch and he paid for that watch, I believe, you know, 4 or 5 months ago. I think it was something like $22,000, right? And this is a monster watch. I'm talking about this is a beautiful green dial with that, you know, special Moonshine 18 karat gold. You know, it's not rose gold, it's not pink gold, it's not ever roses. It has they call it Moonshine, you know, Moonshine. And it has a retail price, ladies and gentlemen. This watch has a retail price of $42,600. And we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, a full set, you know, full kit watch, you know. We're talking about, you know, it's used, but it will pass from you. Okay, guys? Has all the bells and whistles. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to tell you the honest truth. If you are looking into this watch, don't pay. And I don't want this, you know, that subscriber mind's like, wow, I already lost something. But, you know, the watch market is dead. Whether you want to believe it or not, the watch market is dead. Don't pay for that watch more, and I mean don't pay more than $20,500 and dropping. All right, guys? And dropping. So just be very, very, very careful with Omega watches. Omega, you know, I want to tell you something. I believe that the first I think the first to do Chrono watches. To me, the first one to do Chrono watches, and I'm gonna dare myself to say this, but I believe it was Omega watches. You know, some of you might think it was, you know, the Rolex Daytona, but I believe the original one that, you know, that was Omega watches. I mean, you know, Google it. You know, you Google it, take a look, see at it, and you know, from there you take it. All right, guys. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna talk about H. Moser, you know, the Moser, you know, Moose. You know, we have I listen to people talk and it's incredible. You know, they pass along these words they use, these subliminal message words to get all of you taken. Good evening, Wicked. And it's incredible. I was listening again. Yes, let me tell you, they're opening a new boutique on H. Moser, and you're not going to believe this because these people are always attacking people all day long. And I was hearing a gentleman, Sweet Kid Kino, sent me the link, and I said, wow, man, what a subliminal message to get all these people taken. You know, and this person was talking about the H. Moser. Listen, you don't have to tell me that H. Moser is good or not. H. Moser is an unbelievable time machine, but in pricing, it's not holding nothing. You know, it's dropping like, you know, dropping a young lady's panties down. You know, bajar las panties. You know, baja panty. You know, I didn't say nothing bad. I'm sure that most of you like to pull down panties. You know, baja panty. But they're dropping, you know, these watches. They can't, you know, they cost $50,000 off the bat, pay 25 right off the bat. But it's not even 25, it's even lower than that, even lower. So I was watching this gentleman, by the name that you guys know again. You guys admire him. You guys worship him. The guy that has the $150 million company and he's going to take it to $300 million, and he's asking, for you guys, to give him, thank you chats, super chats, Snapchats, all that good stuff, and you guys, until we voice them out and we put them in full blast, they got, they panic and say, wow, this guy's calling us out. And he put away, his show, of asking for those, you know what I'm talking about, Damon. You know what I'm talking about. You're a smart man. So anyway, this gentleman is saying that the people, listen to what he's saying, because if some of you are there, are what I'm going to say, so you can hear what this Mashugana, this Mashugana said. This Mashugana said that the people, they are attracted. Listen and learn that they are attracted and they love this watch. Are tech guys, Tech. I don't know if I said that right. Dije la palabra bien. Tech, ¿verdad? Tech guys. I really don't know what a tech guy is, but I'm only reading what Sweet Kid Kino puts here for me. I read it, And he says that the tech guys are the ones that are buying this watch, the H. Moser. And guess from where these tech guys are from. If anybody guesses where they're located at, where they're, there's a big stampede of them, nobody knows either, right? Nobody knows where these tech guys hang out. Okay, so this guy says that all of them are from Silicon Valley. Wow, Damon, you shocked me. Wow. El tipo dijo Silicon Valley. So this deputy drooping butthole eyes is sending a subliminal message to all these people. They're tech, they call them tech guys, and they are in Silicon Valley. Now check this out. I told you that H. Moser is an unbelievable. That's right. He knows too much. Absolutely. But listen to this. Maybe he knows this too. You're not going to believe, Damon, you have to put it up if you know it. You're not going to believe where H. Moser is going to put a boutique store at. Does anybody know? Listen to this. Where they're going to put an H. Moser boutique at. Nobody knows? Damon, I thought you should know this. Don't be shy if you know it. Okay, I don't think he knows, so I'm going to have to tell you. They're going to put an H. Moser boutique store in Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley. Can you believe that? That's right. The Moose. I don't know. It's incredible. So they're trying to get these tech guys, tech guys. What's a tech guy, ladies and gentlemen? What is a tech guy? Because these people must be loaded, these tech guys, But he's saying that they're going to open a boutique in Silicon Valley. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, don't get fleeced. If you're a tech guy, these guys are just, sending out signals to you guys so you guys can be like, hey, man, we're tech guys. We're from Silicon Valley. And they say that the people that are being attracted to the H. Moser are the people from Silicon Valley from I don't know from where, from wherever they're from, Yeah, there you go. Mark Zuckerberg, there you go. So these people have a lot of money, so they're pushing these names, tech guys, Silicon Valley, boutique, and all that stuff. But don't fall for that joke, A bunch of tomato cans and window lickers. Not the tech guys, deputy droopy butthole eyes with the Tweety Bird haircut, So anyway, we're going to go to that H. Moser. This is the Cheap Pioneer 42.8 with a citrus, unbelievable, green fume dial. Okay, San Francisco, unbelievable. Is Silicon Valley in San Francisco? I don't know too much about that. Kino, son cosas ya de la bandera esa, de los colores, ¿tú entiendes? Azul, amarillo, verde, purple, la bandera. Eso allá en San Francisco. Eso no es así. Sweet Kid Kino was asking a question that I don't want to talk to him about. That's very dangerous. So we're talking about that citrus, green fume dial, reference number that watch is the okay, there you go. You heard it, you heard it, you heard them loud and clear. This is the reference number 3201 1204. This watch has a retail price of $15,900. You know, the pioneer, the concept they call this watch, unbelievable. And ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want. This is for the tech guys, in Silicon Valley, for the tech guys, for Mark, whatever you call him, Zuckerberg, that guy. Don't pay for that watch. Wow, Damon, woof. Wow, you see this? I'm telling you, Damon knows about H. He knows. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that H. Moser. Don't pay more than $10,400 and dropping. You do whatever you want, but don't listen to that Deputy Droopy Butthole Eyes with the Tweety Bird haircut. All right, guys? You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Vacheron Constantin Overseas stainless steel Panda. Unbelievable, this Panda. It's an unbelievable looking Panda. It has a white dial with the black gauges. It's chronograph. And ladies and gentlemen, this watch at one moment in that Corona era was over $60,000. $60,000. He's on fire. He's 2 for 2. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. That Damon's on fire. And this watch was over $60,000 in that Corona beer era. It's an unbelievable looking time machine. The 5500V/110A B686 chronograph, 42.5 millimeter casing. Unbelievable. Unbelievable but true, ladies and gentlemen. And this watch has a retail price of $35,600. $35,600 is the retail price of that watch. And I told you, it went all the way up. It went all the way up. All the way up. Today I feel weak, so I'm going all the way up, It's dropping. You're right. It is dropping, Dr. Evil. It is dropping, Dr. Evil. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, be careful with your 401k. We call it here the 401k. People say it's the 401k. I call it 401k, and that's it. You know what I'm saying. Be careful with your 401k and be careful with your children's tuition money. And don't pay for that Vacheron Constantin Overseas Panda. Don't pay more. We're talking about used, slighter condition material watches in this channel, and we're talking about full set, right? Full set. You want it with all the bells and whistles, and don't pay for that Vacheron Constantin Overseas Panda. Don't pay more than $26,000 in. Okay? You know what's going on. That's how it is. I'm worn out. Okay, you do whatever you want. It's what it is. I already told you guys that I am sponsoring Joaquin. I am sponsoring Joaquin to go to Geneva, to bring you live streaming. We're gonna connect with each other because I'm gonna be in those days also away myself, with my wife. My wife loves me and I love my wife, and we want to keep on traveling the world, so we're gonna go opposite, me and Joaquin. Joaquin to you, Kino to me. We're gonna be traveling in different places. But I told Kino that I am gonna help him, I'm gonna sponsor him. And we're doing that, whatever coins he gets here, from all these things, we're gonna help him out so he can buy some things, to go on his trip. It's what it is, That's how it is, Dr. Evil, Ya se lo estoy diciendo, Kino, lo que hay. Yo te voy a ayudar. I'm gonna be the one, What am I gonna do, And if he wants to take his girlfriend, I told him that part he's gonna have to do it, on his own. But I'm gonna send him, with my dime. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I spoke to you about a watch for the last 3 weeks I've been talking to you about this watch. And I want to tell you how things are in the watch market, how it is. And I told you that a company out of somewhere in California, those feet happy, one is smarter, one is dumber, one is taller, one is shorter, feet happy, they hang around with the other guy to pay wigman, the old man, with the flower shirts, pink pants, orange shoes, green belt, very eclectic. I don't know if you guys know what the word eclectic is, but very eclectic, this gentleman, to pay wigman that hangs out with the two brothers, from Feet Happy. And he had a watch there, ladies and gentlemen, that I talked to you the other day about that watch. He had a Patek Philippe Grand Complications, split second, chronograph, perpetual, green dial, green strap, I call it the G.I. Joe, full set. And they were asking for that watch. Feet Happy were asking $219,000, right? I told you 2 weeks ago, I told you don't pay more than $207,000. Then I told you last week, don't pay more than $203,000. I mean, this is gonna blow your hair back and knock your socks off, what I'm gonna tell you now, because I got people, Kino has people in every corner, and we know what's going on. And ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you the price of this watch, this Patek Philippe Grand Complication, this is the big daddy of them all. This is the big daddy of them all. Wow, this is Eddie Ortiz. Wow, he's there, man. Este es el papá de Tarzan. This is unbelievable. This is an unbelievable watch. Papi, this is a monster watch. You put this, you put this watch on for the board meeting, I mean, I don't know if you know this, you can't go into a board meeting with your Ferrari Italia, or you can't go with your Porsche Gambala. I don't know if you guys know what Porsche Gambala is, but Gambala, like AMG, you can't go into the board meeting with those cars, you can't. But you can go into a meeting with a watch, con un reloj cabrón, exagerado. And this is that watch. This is a monster watch. You cannot walk in with that Enzo. You can't walk in with an Enzo to a board meeting, but you can walk in with this watch. And this watch is there, with what I'm talking about. And this watch has a retail price, ladies and gentlemen, of $337,000 plus your Uncle Sam's taxes. And I'm telling you, Feet Happy was asking $219,000 last week. And I tell you, don't pay more than $203,000. You're not gonna believe what I'm gonna tell you today. Don't pay for that Patek. And I'm gonna give you the reference number because you guys need it. You guys need it. This is the 5204. Unbelievable, the 5204. Unbelievable. And I'm gonna tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want with your money. It's your money, and we know that some of you guys are, what that guy, what that Deputy Droopy with the butthole eyes, with the Tweety Bird haircut says that you guys are tech guys, tech guys, but not tech. I think it's spelled T-E-C-H, right? Tech, tech guys from the Silicon Valley. I'm gonna tell you, ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that Grand Complications Patek Philippe green dial, green strap. Don't pay more than $194,000. This watch is dropping $4,000, $5,000, $7,000 a week. I'm telling you, this is a watch that at one moment it was, papi, estaba en las estrellas. It was in the stars. It was all the way up, ladies and gentlemen. Exactly. You gotta stop maintaining the, at the Night at the Roxbury. Have you guys ever seen the movie A Night at the Roxbury? Two guys that dance like that. Unbelievable. I had to laugh. I do it every when I did that movie. They're two brothers. That the father had them selling flowers. Well, these kids have been trained the same way. By the Michiganer. These guys are Michiganers. If you don't know what a Mashugano is, you Google it because I'm not going to tell you what it is. But Damon will tell you and Ed will tell you. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, don't pay more than that. This watch is dropping, bajar la panty, like pulling panties down, you know? I'm not even going to say dropping faster than Bill Clinton's pants. It's like pulling panties down. And pulling panties is just dropping. And this is a monster watch. This is a monster watch. And we've been offered, Google it, exactly, Google it. That's right, Google it. It's been offered to us. And we say no because we know that this watch is just dropping and dropping and dropping. And they're trying to find a couple of, gentlemen to get taken. Those two guys from Feet Happy, one is smarter, one is dumber, one is taller, one is shorter, and their sidekick, the sidekick, Toupee Wigman. I'm getting warmed up. I feel I better slow down because I have to work tomorrow hard. I gotta be, well. Anyway, you got that. Ladies and gentlemen, there's another watch they call the Tudor Black Bay. The Tudor Black Bay. Se me olvidó decirte, Kino, que Damon te dio un super chat de 5 cocos, ¿ok? Claro. Kino wanted this to me. Unbelievable, Kino. Unbelievable. Anyway, going back to the Tudor. The Tudor Black Bay Chrono, stainless steel. They call this the Flamingo. They call this the Flamingo. The blue Turkish. I don't know the word. Somebody heard me. The Turkish. Something Turkish blue dial. Unbelievable, this watch. And this watch, at one moment when it first started, it was up there, and I don't know, 17, 18, 19, 20, $20,000. And thank God that me, I'm gonna take some credibility here. Me and Joaquin and Kino, we spread the word out of the Flamingo, or the other one. I don't know, the other one, whatever you call the pink thing, the pink one. That watch was dropping and dropping, and they got so embarrassed that they put that watch away, and now they have this Flamingo blue, Turkish blue, and this watch was up there, but it's dropping, and this watch has a retail price of $5,875. I'm very curious. Curioso, ¿verdad? Curioso. Curious, I don't know the word, not like that. That band, The Cure, remember the band, The Cure? I don't know if you guys know that, whatever. Anyway, so I want to know what you guys think that watch is being, shopped around for. You guys don't know these prices, but we know them because we're like Samuel Fair. Me and Sweet Kid Kino are like Samuel Fair. We're everywhere. Samuel Fair? You ever heard of Samuel Fair? Wow, cojones. Ed Blair. El que siempre pone ahí, deja que tú veas lo que puso ese hombre. 11,800 puso ese hombre. Ed, did you put $11,800? Ed Blair, did you put $11,800? You lo puso, brother. Well, that's for the pink one. So give me the blue one. Tell me the blue one. What do you guys think the blue one is? Wicked, what do you think the blue one is? Turkish. Yeah. How much? Nobody knows? Okay. So on the Tudor Black Bay Chrono, stainless steel, the Flamingo blue dial, 41 millimeter. Reference number 79360N/0024. Retail price $58.75. Ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that Tudor Black Bay Chrono Flamingo. Don't pay more. You ready for this? Don't pay more than $11,900. All right? Be careful. Yeah, the Tiffany dial. That's right, the Tiffany dial. Don't pay more than that. You're paying too much if you're paying $14,500 for that watch. Eddie Ortiz, you're paying too much, Papa. Stop giving away your children's tuition and money away, and stop giving away your 401k. You've been working too hard for that. The watch market is dead in a backyard pool and smelly like this. Thank you very much. Kinko, thank you very much. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you very, very much. Thank you so much. So, I'm letting you know what's going on so you guys won't get caught in the current, the current, the water, the water. Over there in California, they got this thing that the water just goes all the way down. Exactly. Look at that. Eddie Ortiz. Okay, that's good. 12,000. Don't pay more than that, ladies and gentlemen. I know what I'm trying to tell you. You guys do whatever you want, but it's the truth. It is the truth. You guys do whatever you want, but don't get flim flam and don't get fleece. All right. Our next watch is another watch that last year I had this watch and I honestly I got rid of it. I sold it. I sold it. I didn't want it. It is the Rolex Sky-Dweller rose gold ever rose with a blue dial with an oyster bracelet, 42 millimeter. Papi, tiene te mandado otra persona te mandó $5 para el viaje de Geneva. The watches and wonder para ti, papá. Kino's happy. He really is. He wanted this to me. He wanted to me. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a beautiful Rolex, ever rose gold Sky-Dweller blue dial with an oyster bracelet. This watch, the reference number is the 336935. This watch has a retail price of $56,600. $56,600. And at one moment when it was first released, it was up there 75, 78, 72, $73,000. You heard the retail price, $56,600. The blue Sky-Dweller. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you, this is a used slider material watch, and I'm going to tell you, you do whatever you want. This watch is practically new. Still has some stickers on it. And we're going to tell you, see, you might be thinking, how do you get those prices? Well, these are the prices, ladies and gentlemen, for your information that we get, so we can buy them and we can resell them. But we don't want to buy them and we don't want to resell them. And these are the prices that we get. And I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that Sky-Dweller rose gold with that beautiful blue, bluish, greenish dial, whatever you want to call it. Don't pay more. And I mean, don't pay more than $54,000 in dropping. I mean, you do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm also going to tell you something else. I'm going to tell you something else that you guys should know. We study a lot, that website. We look at it, but we don't even go by the numbers they have there. I'm talking about chart watch. Chart watches. ¿Cómo tú le dices? Chart, ponle papel. Chart watch. You know what I'm trying to say, right? Chart watch. Well, I want you guys to know something, ladies and gentlemen. These people at chart watches. Damon, you know too much. If you pay attention, you're going to learn something. And if you don't, you won't. But you see, Damon, he's telling you, pencil this. We look at it to laugh when we look at chart watches. I want you guys to know that listen to this real well. This is going to cost money for you to hear this. It's for free, but it's going to cost you money because nobody would ever tell you what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. Today I feel relaxed. I want to tell you things. And when you look at that chart watches, if you guys don't know this and if you guys haven't figured it out, I have a lot of people, there's, spook, they're spooking around, they're looking, spooking around this channel to hear what I'm saying. And I dare you to write something when I say to my organic Watch Channel subscribers what I'm going to tell you. What I'm going to tell them. Don't think for a moment those watches that they have in chart watches, they're out of this world. They're giving prices there that they still think that they are in the Corona era. Well, I'm gonna make it simpler for you. They're giving prices there to make you think that the watch market is up and running, and it's not. The watch market is dead. But this is the big part that you guys don't know. Every single Muppet Boiler Room secondary gray watch market channel is greasing up chart watches to keep on jacking up the prices on all those watches. I bet you didn't know that. I bet you didn't know that. But now you know it. They're getting greased up. They're getting greased up so they can keep on jacking up those prices. You know, that website that you guys look at. You guys think that we look at that website for pricing? You must be out of your mind if you think that we look at that website for prices. Come on, Damon, say something. Come on, Damon, help out here. You know, you're out of your mind. These people are getting greased up under the table so they can do this to you. You know, this is my logo. So they can do this to you. Exactly. You know, they flock. Right now they're hearing this and they're saying, God damn it, this guy again, bro. They're getting all greased up, man. Papi, they're getting greased up. They're getting greased up so they can do this to you. You know what this means? If you don't know what this is my logo. Okay? Listen up. I'm telling you. I told you something today. This is not a subliminal message. Many times I have given you information, but you guys are in La La Land. You guys are in Disneyland playing around, you know, with Pluto, you know, and Minnie, you know, and Goofy. Understand me? I know what I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen. Kino, le estoy bajando fuerte, Kino. Le estoy tirando fuerte. Le estoy tirando fuerte para que se despierten las pajas. Don't worry about my content. I'm always going to have content. I'm always going to have content for you guys. I'm always going to have content. Remember, you know, I might be a mashugana at times, but I'm telling you the truth. These people are getting greased up. Greased up. They're all of them are in cahoots with them. You want me to go a little further? Do you want me to go a little bit further? I'm going to go. There's another one that is not chart watches, it's analytics. You know, analytics. Those people are even worse. Those people are, I'm telling you, those people, the analytics, you know, the analytic guy, you know, it has like a green thing, you know, like dropping whatever like that. Those guys are even worse because they're all getting greased up to say that the watch prices are going up. But you gotta be asleep to believe those people, ladies and gentlemen. Son una rata. I told you about these rats. I'm not gonna get into rats, but you should know already the story de la rata. They're all in cahoots. Damon, you know too much. Damon, you know, sometimes Damon, you know, I don't know. I don't know, Damon, you know. I don't know. You know what happened to that guy, to Johnny Brasco, you know, and his sidekick. You know what happened, you know. But I have a lot of respect and a lot of love for Damon, Ed, Wicked, you know, Mr. Donut, you know, Kevin. You know, there were two Kevins here. We have another one here, but not that Kevin. That Kevin was in cahoots too. But you know what I'm trying to tell you? I told you something big, and now you know it, and you can, you know, when you go to all those different channels to see their content, you can say, Sweet Kid Kino told me that they're greasing up, you know, analytics and chart. And they say they're one of the biggest, you know, contributors, you know, that they give contributions to that. You're not going to believe this, but they say is the Iron Sheik tunic man from that side of town. You know, the Iron Sheik, you know, with the white thing. They say he's there. The price, bring it up, bring it up, bring it up all day long, all the way up, all the way up. I'm getting excited, Kino. Kino's telling me to slow down, you know, slow down. So, and they also say from the United States, you have a night at the Roxbury, you know? You know, one is taller, one is shorter, one is smarter, one is dumber. We're talking about free happy. Mira. Say that the price is going up. Say that the prices are going up. I know what I'm telling you. The Iron Sheik tunic, man, is one of the biggest donators, you know? They give donations, you know? Like the donations you give Sweet Kikino. And those people keep on saying that the watch market is up. You do whatever you want. You got the information for free. Son rata, Eddie. Eddie, son rata. You know it, Wicked. Son rata. Te digo que son rata. And I'm excited to tell you this. It's been days that I have wanted to tell you all about this, about chart watches and analytics. Am I saying the one analytics correct? You know? I know that I'm saying chart watch is correct, but I'm the analytic one. Ese es un criminal. And they get you guys, and you guys go crazy. Oh my God, the price is going up. Yeah, they're going up because they're greasing them up to say the price is going up. Esto está jodido, papi. Esto está jodido, papi. Esto está jodido. No sean lambones. Analytic, there it is. This Ed is a brain. He knows too much. The word is analytic. That one too. He's another flim flammer. He's another flim flammer. I'm telling you, they're all getting greased up. You want me to take it further, more, a little bit more? A little bit more. If you tell me more, I'll tell you more. If you say no, I stop. You know all those big luxury watch brands? All the way up. All the way up. Grasa, papá, grasa. Mira, grasa. Y entra rápido. It goes in quickly. I know what I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying, guys. I told you something big. You have ammunition. Esto se jodió, pai. Esto se jodió. Por ser lambones. Porque son lambones. I know what I'm saying. You guys don't want to hear too much no more. Damon told you to get a pencil right down. And I already told you luxury watches. I can go even deeper, but I'm going to leave it there. Okay, for you guys. Because you guys are looking at too much at analytics. And you're looking too much at chart watch people. NG. You know what NG is? No good. Esto está jodido. He's dead. Dead. I know what I'm telling you, he's dead. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a watch that they're preying on you guys, but you guys have me. Next watch is a Rolex Daytona yellow gold Le Mans. This is the yellow gold one. I told you the other day, yesterday, I believe I told you the white gold. This is the yellow one. This is the one that is not discontinued no more. And they don't want to discontinue as well. They don't want this watch discontinued. They want to keep on using the word collector's grade, collector's choice, collector's dream, you know? So they can keep on fleecing you and flim-flamming you. You know, it's unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, the retail price of this watch, of this Le Mans, is $50,000. Eso correcto. Grasa, papá. Mucha grasa para el orto. Para el orto. Eso es así, bye. Por ser lambones. $50,000 for this watch, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, they don't want us in the air. They don't want us in the air, ladies and gentlemen. You know all the information that I just finished dropping on you guys? Do you know all the information that I just finished dropping on you guys? This is unbelievable. What I'm teaching you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me finish with this Daytona and I'm going to tell you something else. because I have to tell you this. I got to tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. Kino, no me importa. You know what Kino's telling me? Not to tell you too much because, you know, a mí no me importa, Kino. Que no me den nada. That we don't get nothing in return. We're stupid like that, you know? I think Kino's smarter than me. Because Kino told, don't say no more. Don't tell him no more things. I'm going to tell you more. But let me finish with this Le Mans. And I'm going to tell you something. This Rolex yellow gold Le Mans, you know? You know it, Damon. Wait till you hear what I'm going to tell you next. Wait till you hear, all of you lucky 29 organic subscribers. Tell them, Damon, esto está muerto, papi. Tell them, Damon, tell them, this is dead in a backyard pool floating face down like this. He's dead. Ladies and gentlemen, this Rolex yellow gold Le Mans Daytona, you know, with a black ceramic, black dial with white gauges, yellow gold, unbelievable. This is an unbelievable looking time machine. I feel funny with a hat on. You know, I don't do this, but I did it today for my friend, you know, for his company. But this watch is $50,000, the retail price. And ladies and gentlemen, this watch was at $275,000. $275,000. And the more it talks about that it's going to get discontinued, the higher it goes and higher it goes, you know, because they don't want it. They don't want it to get discontinued because once it gets discontinued, it's going to drop faster than Bill Clinton's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse. And ladies and gentlemen, do yourself a favor and write down this reference number on this watch that I'm talking about, the Le Mans, you know. It's an unbelievable looking time machine. You know, just don't pay more. Don't pay more for this Rolex Le Mans. Don't pay more. They're going to be mad at me. But I have to tell you, don't pay more. If you want to buy it, it's still up there, ladies and gentlemen. But don't pay more than $213,000 in. Okay? It's dropping. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you something else. You know, we have a guy, or we have several guys. They're there the whole day. That's it. LN. That we have several people. You know, back in the day, a couple of years ago, they were all over the place. It's a short guy that, you know, he talks about, I was in college, and you know, if you want to make $1,500 a week extra, what you need is an envelope and a stamp and a box in UPS, and you can start making $1,500. You know, it's like a channel, you know, a channel that sells the kit, how to become a watch dealer, you know. Esa gente tan judío ya. And they will show you the Bugatti, and they will show you the Lamborghini, and they will show you the G-Wagon, or the, ¿cómo se llama el carro de la Mercedes-Benz? Que es cuadrado. You know, those cars, those expensive cars. Me and Kino don't know about that. I drive a pickup, a very old pickup, and Kino drives, I don't even want to tell you. But this guy, you know, he's there showing you the Bugatti and the McLaren, you know, and he has a, you know, one of those Cherokee G-Wagons. I don't know, Cherokee, you know, Cherokee. One of those cars, expensive cars, and he's selling these kits, you know, to go to his school, to his academy. Those things are dead. If you want to learn how to become a watch dealer, Sweet Kino can show you how to become a dealer. And you don't have to pay all that money. Those guys are dead. Those guys are turning in all their leasing cars back in. Because you guys were maintaining their lifestyle. You know what I'm talking about, the academy. You know, the academy, this. Kino wanted me to do one of those academies. I said, no, I'm not going to get into that. You crazy? You're out of your mind. You know? You gotta be crazy. So I'm just letting you know, those academies that teach you how to flim-flam people, how to fleece people. You know what I'm saying? I know what I'm telling you. I don't know. He's like a Spanish guy. I think he's from Mexico. You know? I think he's from Mexico. He's Latino like me. But he says in this, and and he's filthy rich and that, papi, el tipo está pasmado, el tipo está bruja ya, está jodido. ¿Tú entendiste? El tipo está bruja ya, está jodido. No hay dinero por la calle, papi. No hay dinero. La situación está jodida. Hey, what's the name of the guy I'm talking about? Put it up there, the Academy guy. I don't know his name. En Kino, tú no sabes el nombre del tipo que vende la cosa esa. Anyway, so I'm telling you, if you want to learn about, how to become a watch dealer, we can help you with that for free. We can help you with that for free. Right now, we're helping you for free. And what do we get? We get the short end of the stick. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to send Sweet Kid Kino to Geneva to Watches and Wonders. And we got to take care of Kino. We got to protect him. We cannot let people know who Sweet Kid Kino is. He's like the magician, the magician guy from the 90s that showed all his tricks. We can't. Okay, guys. Anyway, guys. Our next watch is a Rolex Rose Gold, Ever Rose Daytona with a chocolate dial. Chocolate dial. Unbelievable, this chocolate dial. It has Arabic numerals. The reference number of that watch is the 116505 with a 40 millimeter. Unbelievable. Not the new chocolate one. This is an older reference number, But unbelievable. It was the one with the Arabic numbers, which I believe the Arabic numbers, I thought always was going to be that was going to blow up, go all the way up, but it didn't water. Ladies and gentlemen, this watch is unbelievable, the chocolate dial. It has a retail price of $41,600. The reference number again is the 116505. And ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want with your children's tuition money, but don't pay for that watch more than $37,000 and dropping. And we're talking about a full kit, full set with all the bells and whistles. You be careful out there with your children's tuition money. The next watch is a Rolex White Gold Daytona Oyster Flex. They call this the Ghost. They call this the Ghost. Unbelievable looking watch, but it's the older version, the old version. This is the 116519. 116519. And ladies and gentlemen, this watch at one moment, you're not going to believe this, but this watch topped the number of over $45,000. Scout's honor, no lie, no joking, no smiling, no making no watch market debt, it was up there, with that guy, with the Academy guy, the guy with the Academy, you're going to make $1,500 with an envelope and a stamp and a box, and you're going to make money. And you only need $1,500 to start the business. That's what the guy will tell you. And there was a bunch of, a stampede of lollipop suckers, window lickers, tomato cans, Palmolive dish lickers, crumb bums, ready to give away this gentleman, a short guy, a short, Spanish guy, all your money, unbelievable. Exactly, David Blaine, unbelievable. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you the truth. I mean, you guys do whatever you want, but you got to stop being lollipop suckers, ladies and gentlemen. Don't pay for that Rolex White Gold Daytona Oyster Flex Ghost, like Casper the Ghost, 116519. Retail price $31,500. Ladies and gentlemen, it was all the way up there, like I'm telling you, $45,000. Don't pay more than $32,000 in one-handed drop. Okay? One-handed drop. Sí, Kino, te van a hacerlo. No importa. You do whatever you want, ladies and gentlemen. Tú estás jodido, papi. No sean lambones. No sean lambones. Ustedes son un bonche de lambones. Tenemos 10 pesos. 10 pesos. 10 coco. We got 10 coconuts. You do whatever you want. You want to pay 28, you pay 28. But I give you the real numbers, papi. I give you the real numbers. When it gets to 28, I'll be the first to tell you it's 28. But that's the number that's now, okay? David Ortiz, that's the number. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you another story. I'm on fire today. I'm going to tell you something that if you're looking at the Rolex Submariner, and this is the new reference number, the Rolex Submariner, I'm gonna dare myself to tell you a secret. And you're not going to believe this. You know it, Damon. You know it. You're not gonna believe this, but this Rolex Submariner that I'm gonna tell you is more popular. Listen to this and learn. Tell them, Damon, to pencil this because they're not listening. This is like a daily beater. This is, Ed, listen to this, Ed, it's good for you because sometimes you slip and fall. Ed, this is good for you. This watch that I'm going to talk to you, they are starting to call it, Sweet Kikino's calling it, un modelo de la pelea, you know, a daily beater. And you're going to go, wow, what Rolex Submariner can that be? And I'm going to tell you the one that we believe is the more popular one, the more desirable one. I'm going to tell you which is the more desirable one. You might be thinking, well, you have the froggy legs. You have the froggy legs, which is, you know, the MK green ceramic bezel with the black dial, right? 41 millimeter. I call it the froggy legs. You call that, think, Starbucks, something to that effect. Listen to this, gentlemen. Write this down, right? And you might say, in this watch at one moment was over. It went all the way up. Listen to this, Wicked. It went all the way up. It went all the way up to $25,000. Wicked, stay with me, Papi. Stay with me, Wicked. We're talking about the 41 millimeter. 41, not 40. The 40 is the Hawk, you know? The Hawk, the strong guy, the green guy. This is the 41 millimeter. But I want you to get smart. The 41 millimeter. You're not going to believe this, that the most desirable one is not the one with the green ceramic bezel and the black dial. The more desirable one is the one with the James Bond. You know, James Bond. James Bond, the original James Bond will wear a Rolex Submariner, stainless steel with a black dial and an aluminum bezel, you know? That's the one that's more desirable. The one that's dying out. The one that's dying out. And it's everywhere. Everybody is getting a froggy legs. I didn't say a bad word. Froggy legs. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not even going to give you the reference number of that watch. I'm not. Exactly. That's right, Mr. Donor. You see, Mr. Donor, he's here already. He's a smart man. A very shrewd man. Ladies and gentlemen, today people are staying here. Exactly, the 1675. People are staying here because they want to learn. That's right. And you're not going to believe this, ladies and gentlemen. The black ceramic, black dial, 41 millimeter is more desirable. You ready for this? You're going to go, wow, this is crazy. The black one, black dial, black ceramic is holding up more on pricing. You're not going to believe it, but it's holding up more than that green froggy legs with the black dial. I'm telling you. I'm going to tell you, don't pay for the froggy legs with the green ceramic bezel. That's right, Wicked. You see that? See that? We got somebody paying attention. Papi, you come here to learn, Papa. Te lo voy a hacer aquí, no? This is my logo. You come to learn here for free. Kino's going to Geneva to give you more information. You do whatever you want. And I'm going to tell you, ladies, okay, yeah, that's it. But you're right, Bob. I understood you, Mr. Donut. I understood you. Don't pay for the froggy legs. We're talking about, man, a 2024. I had this watch. I gave it to my son. It's $10,800. And don't pay for that watch. Listen and learn. We have a lot of people, spoofing around here, looking around this channel. They want to hear this. Don't pay for that watch more than $12,500. Don't pay more than that. Don't pay more than that. Don't pay more than $12,500 for the froggy legs with the green ceramic bezel. And I'm telling you, the James Bond Submariner, black dial, black ceramic bezel with a date. Both of them have dates. It's costing more than the green. You do whatever you want, Papi. Papi, don't tell me no more not to tell him no more things. I got to. He's telling me not to tell you no more things because I'm not going to have no more things to tell you. I don't give a hood. I don't give a hood. Kino, esto es lo que hay, papi. Esto es lo que hay. No me hables más cativilla. Son lambones. Lambones. There you see that? You saw what Wicked, right? I agree. People don't want the star. I'm telling you, they're letting go out of the votes all those green watches. Suéltalo! Suéltalo! I'm getting, Kino told me I can see him from the side. I'm going to slow down. I'm telling you what is. I bet you no one has told you that. There's a stampede of green ceramic bezel, 41 millimeter green, black dial out there. Everybody's getting a phone call for that thing. They're everywhere. You do whatever you want. Enough of that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you about a watch that is unbelievable. It is the Omega stainless steel. Thank you very much, Wicked. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Dos cañitas, eso como 3 pesos. Ese Wicked, gracias, Wicked. Thank you very much, Wicked. This watch that I'm going to tell you guys is unbelievable. This is the Omega Speedmaster moon face with a Meteorite blue dial. Does anybody know what the retail price of that watch is? This is another watch to flim-flam you, but they can't flim-flam you. They know they're hurting. This watch, they try to pump it, pump and dump, but they can't. They can't do it. Anybody know what you can Google it. Yeah, Google and put it up there. You can Google it. This is a 43 millimeter with a Meteorite dial. You put a Meteorite dial on any Rolex, and the Meteorite dial on a Rolex will cost you $25,000. On the gray, the second gray watch market, $25,000 on the back. But on this Omega, they can't flim-flam you. They can't fleece you. They can't get you taken. They can't get you for lollipop suckers. They can't get you for crumb bums. For some reason, they can't. Nobody knows what the retail price of that watch is? Nobody knows? Well, let me tell you then, ladies and gentlemen. The retail price of that Omega with a Meteorite dial, stainless steel with a moon face, is $17,100. And these people were licking their chops. They thought they were going to make, an assassination with you guys, They were gonna murder, like that guy, that guy that came into the White House dressed up as a G.I. Joe, and he sat in the Oval Office, and he was there, and he was acting like, that he was the man. That guy, I don't know, the guy that dresses like a G.I. Joe. I never seen a guy, come into the Oval Office dressed like that in green fatigue, green sweater, green pants, and green little boots, Unbelievable, that guy, the nerve of that guy, I'm just saying that. I'm protecting the Oval Office. I don't care who sits in the Oval Office, but you got to respect that place, Unbelievable, But it is what it is, They're Palmolive. You got to be a Palmolive dish licker, for those Meteorite dials. And I'm telling you, ladies, because, that guy I'm telling you, he has some of those things, that he has a special, I don't know, a titanium, something he has in his country. And, he doesn't want to let go. I don't know. Maybe it's like a Meteorite, but he has that guy with the green uniform on. But unbelievable, but true. It is. It is. And $17,100. And when they first started, they were asking 20, 25, 27, but it was dropping by the hour, and by the hour, and by the hour, and by the hour. And I'm telling you, this is a beautiful one. This one with the blue dial, stainless steel, moon face, unbelievable. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want with your children's tuition money, but don't pay for this watch. Don't pay more. You do whatever you want. You ready for this? Can anybody just give me a number what I'm going to say? Está muerto, papi. Está muerto. Eddie, está muerto, papi. Eddie, Kino's going to Geneva. Just to let you know. Mr. Donut, 10K, okay. Let's try a little higher than that, okay? A little higher. One more. Anybody? Any takers? No? Well, ladies and gentlemen, don't pay. That's pretty tight. Eddie, Eddie's there. Eddie Ortiz is there. Don't pay for that Omega stainless steel Speedmaster Moonface blue Meteorite dial, 43 millimeter. Retail price $17,100. Ladies and gentlemen, stop giving away your children's tuition money away. Stop giving it away. If you want to give it away to Sweet Kid Kino. Okay? And don't pay for that watch more than $14,000 and you do whatever you want with the watch market today. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Man, you do. They say that me and Sweet Kid Kino has saved lots of money on people out there. They say that. I don't know if that's true or not. And dropping. This man Ed knows too much. Es muy brillante. And dropping. And now Mr. Donut saying it's too much. That's unbelievable. But Mr. Donut, in this channel, we got to tell you what's happening. Tenemos que ir al paso. We got to go at the pace. Because if not, then I won't be credible. You know? ¿Cómo es la palabra? Credible? I won't be credible, you know? And I got to be credible. Even though I'm a jokester and I make you guys relax and funny, I say the numbers are, Papi, my numbers are for real. Papa, they can't grease me. They can't grease me. And I have been approached. And you might be thinking it's a joke. We have been approached. Come to the dark side and join us. Come to the dark side and join us. Okay. It's what it is. It's what it is. Take notes, guys, because tomorrow you're going to go out. Tomorrow you're going to be, you're going to be keyboard warriors. Me salió bien ese, ¿verdad? Aquí no. Keyboard. You guys tomorrow are going to be keyboard warriors. Today we learned too much. Imagine that I've been talking for 85 minutes already. And you guys are still sticking around. Unbelievable. I'm going to sleep good today. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go to my last watch of the evening. This is a beautiful watch that I'm going to talk about. We haven't talked about this brand today. This is it here. I left it for last. We're going to be talking about the Audemars Piguet. Listen up and learn. The Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. Ultra thin. I repeat. Ultra thin. Unbelievable. They call this the pink gold. Pink gold. People don't, la gente no se van. They don't leave. They're still there. They're still wandering around, hanging around with us. They want to listen. They want to learn. Pink gold. Tourbillon. This watch at one moment went all the way up, ladies and gentlemen, all the way up. Hey, listen to this, all the way up to $480,000. You know those two brothers, the toddler body brothers? Those people became rich, became rich selling these watches. It went to $480,000. The AP Royal Oak Ultra Thin Tourbillon with a pink gold 41 millimeter. Reference number 26510OR. A colossal watch. See? Ed knows what I'm talking about. Papa, this is a monster watch. Papi, they're still coming. Siempre van. Hay más gente. No se van. Se quieren quedar aquí. They want to stay. They want to keep on learning. Anything is for free. They want to learn. Look at that. Robert Taylor. Mr. Robert Taylor's here, and he just put $165. Puso $165,000. $165,000. Robert Taylor. I think his name is Robert Taylor. Put up $165,000 Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. And you're going to see now what the retail price of this watch is. It's a colossal, it's a mammoth. You know it. The retail price of this watch, pencil this in, pencil this in. The retail plus taxes is $191,000. You know, Tourbillon, unbelievable. Ultra thin, low profile, like a Porsche Gambala to the floor. Boom, boom. Understand me? To the floor. Slant nose. You know what a slant nose is? Esa gente no sabe lo que slant nose es, Kino, porque tú eres de Mutiny. Tú eres de Mutiny y tú andabas con todos con Willy Falcón y toda esa gente. You guys don't know who that guy, you know, is. You don't know who he is. Unbelievable. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this watch, the retail price is $191,000. And it went all the way up to $480,000. Can you imagine buying a watch for $191 and selling it for $480,000? And ladies and gentlemen, people were just setting the wires. You know, setting the wires. And today, this is what they're getting today. You know, but back then in the Corona, you know, the Corona beer, people going crazy. You know it, the fastest. You know it, Robert, you know it. But Robert, your price is good, but you're going to be more in shock. Robert gave a good price. Wow, Achilles está bien. Achilles is there. Achilles is there. Wow, muy bien. But Achilles, you're also going to be in shock. I'm getting tired, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really getting tired. So I'm going to tell you the price. Don't pay for that beautiful AP Royal Oak Ultra Thin Tourbillon Pink Gold 41 millimeter reference number 26510OR. Retail price $191,000. I got these people, they're looking at me. All these Muppet Boiler Room secondary Great Watch Market channels right now are listening to me. Don't pay for that watch. You ready? You ready, Robert? You ready, Mr. Donut? You ready, Ed? You ready, Achilles? Don't pay more. Use slighter condition material watches, almost new. Don't pay more than $132,000. How you like them apples? How you like them apples? Let me give you the logo. When you see it, there it is. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I really hope you enjoy this watch market update and you learn something. Remember, a new subscriber is calling us the awareness channel. We have aware. I don't know what the awareness means, but that's what they're saying. That we are the awareness channel and we have woken up the masses. This person swears that we have single-handedly rattled and disrupted the secondary gray watch market. That's what they say. I'm only telling you what they're saying. Do I believe it? No, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. But Sweet Kid Kino, he is the brains. Well, guys, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like our video. And also, we have a private watch group. It's under my name, Juan Nieves. Just scroll down, you know, to Opus and Time Watches and request it. And maybe Samantha or Kino will let you in. All right, guys? And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for supporting our watch channel. You know, every dime, I told Kino always, 50 cents, $1, we love it. You know, it just gives us more arsenal to continue on. I really mean that, for real. All kidding aside, you know, when we see that, when we see those $2, you know, $3, $5, we get happy and we continue on, ladies and gentlemen. I mean that from the bottom of my heart, for real. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I hope you guys learned something today. I hope you guys learned something about chart watches. You learned something about the word that Ed Blair showed me, analytics, whatever you call it. I hope you learned something about that. I hope you learned something about when you're buying your watches from those CPO programs. You got to watch it with those dials that are very desirable. They can do the switcheroo in you guys. You know, all that good stuff, right, guys? Really. So thank you very much for supporting the channel and helping us out. It gets us very, very happy. And I'm telling you one more time, all kidding aside, Kino wants to go to Geneva, and we were gonna make it happen. He is gonna go over there, so he can bring you some good information from over there. Okay, guys? Anyway, guys, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like our video. And like me and Sweet Kid Kino say every week, take care and brush your hair. Peace, guys.